Hi there everybody, this is David and welcome to New RPG News. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, from Golden Sun to Sandland to some Granblue Fantasy to some EarthBound and even Yoshi P talking about Final Fantasy 17 and what might be in store for that. And I was going to wear a tank top today, but this little bitch needs a safe space from my tank tops. He was so triggered by them that apparently I sullied a good review. Oh no! So I figured that I'd wear a nice professional shirt instead. Maybe he'll be happy about that, or maybe he can go cry home to his mommy about it. Anyway. Calling bitches out left and right here. Anyway, I want to start off this news show by going through my P.O. box, and I got a package. Hell yeah. This is from Lucas. Thank you so much, Lucas. Let's see what we got going on here. I did kind of open it up just to see what it was. But yeah, so I saw it in the post office, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to open this up and see. So, sometimes I get too excited for my own good. So here we go. Let's see what we got. Want to share it with all of y'all. This is the impact of Iwata. I know that there was a Kickstarter on this, and oh, how cool. Thank you so much, Lucas, for this. If I could get it out of the frickin' plastic wrap, if I could get it out without destroying it, that would be lovely. Okay, there we go. That's much better. There we go. Come on. I opened the box halfway, but I couldn't get it out of the frickin' plastic wrap. Okay, there we go. Comes with a poster. Let's look at. I love posters. I love hanging them up. I love looking at them. I love everything about them. Oh gosh. Oh, this is cute. It's a double-sided poster. It says, "Thank you, Mr. Iwata." It has EarthBound. It has Pokemon. It has Balloon Fight. It has Kirby. Oh, this is just the best. I love this. And then on the back, this is probably the way I'm going to display it. It's just easier to hang this way. It has all sorts of other games that he developed. Dragon Quest! I can't even stand it! Dragon Quest! Oh, Lolo! Oh my gosh, all this stuff. Mario Kart, golf, everything. Oh, I can't even stand it. This is great. Thank you so much, Lucas, for sending this over to my P.O. box. And then the book. Let's see what else we got going on in here in this book. Yeah, just the legacy of golf. Just all sorts of stuff. This is going to be some great reading. Oh god, this is on EarthBound. We're actually talking about EarthBound today. There's a whole EarthBound thing. So that's cool. Pokemon. Oh, this is going to be some great reading on my trip to Japan later on in the month. Thank you for this. Okay, so let's kick this off with the Game Boy Advance. Nintendo Switch Online is adding Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age on January 17th. Woo frickin' who? These were probably like the best games on the Game Boy Advance. These games are fantastic. If you are a fan of traditional turn-based JRPGs with job class systems, with puzzle-based mechanics, kind of like Lufia 2 sort of stuff, like, you cannot go wrong with these. And you have to play the first one before you play the second one. They are direct sequels to one another. And I just have to say this is just for my own edification. There was a third Golden Sun game that came out on the Nintendo DS. It was Golden Sun Dark Dawn, which was actually shown on The Young and the Restless at one point. Phyllis was in a fight with Nick, and she was going on and on and on. She threw Golden Sun Dark Dawn like in his face, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. But that was years ago. But anyway, such a dork. So anyway, that game ended on like a huge cliffhanger. So here's hoping that these Golden Sun games do really, really, really well, and maybe we'll get a fourth Golden Sun game, one that might wrap up the entire trilogy and end that cliffhanger, or maybe we might get HD 2D remakes of the whole trilogy, and then if that does well, then we'll get a fourth game. Maybe this game will continue on. I don't know. But yeah, this is very exciting news as far as I'm concerned. We have a report. Nintendo is in deep conversations with 3 different studios about making new games in its various franchises. This is according to a report from Game Industry. It says Nintendo is once again exploring partnerships with new studios that will make games based on its existing IPs. Not new games, existing IPs. Well, I should say not new IPs. That's what I should say. Nintendo has previously worked with third parties such as Mercury Steam for Metroid Dread, WayForward on the Advance Wars remakes, and Platinum Games on multiple games. Games industry is reporting that 3 studios are in deep conversation around making games based upon these Nintendo brands. They go on to quote, "I also know that Nintendo is actively meeting with independent developers to find new partners. Some of that is around publishing indie games, which Nintendo does from time to time, but is also seeking studios that could work on some of its IPs. Nintendo regularly works with these third-party developers, including Namco Bandai, Team Ninja, Platinum Games, Mercury Steam, WayForward, and Grayzo. But the company is looking to add to that roster, and I know of 3 studios that are in deep conversation around making games based upon Nintendo brands. I wonder what the studios are, and I also wonder what games they might be wanting to make. I wonder." And I think a pretty good follow-up story to that is that plans are reportedly in place to celebrate EarthBound's 30th anniversary! A guy can dream, can't he? You know, a guy can dream. We don't know what the plans are that are in place to celebrate this, but we don't really know, but you know, I can dream. Maybe we'll see HD 2D remakes. Maybe we'll see a trilogy compilation. Maybe we'll see an EarthBound 4? Who knows? It says, "What these plans are exactly is up in the air at the moment, but we're not expecting anything earth-shattering. After all, EarthBound is already playable on the Switch via the Nintendo Online service, and we're way beyond anticipating any official Western release of its sequel, Mother 3. The actual tweet says, it's in Japanese, of course, but the actual tweet says, "Happy New Year. 2024 marks the 30th anniversary of the release of Mother 2. We are preparing various plans, so let's enjoy this year together." So we don't know what the various plans are, but again, a guy can dream, can't he? So just the other day, I put out a video over my impressions and review of the Granblue Phantasy Relink demo, and I just want to take this opportunity right now to let y'all know that if somehow you're living under a rock and you didn't know or you didn't see the video or whatever, hey! Get with it! There is a demo out there for Granblue Phantasy Relink. It's for the PS5 and PS4. It is there. It is available to play. Go out and play it. It lasts roughly an hour or so it doesn't take up too much of your time. But like, yeah, like it's great. I really, really enjoyed it. And then it goes on to talk about an update schedule that they're having. It says the company's also announced the Granblue Phantasy Relink update schedule, which includes a Lucius boss fight quest in March, new playable characters Siophon and Tuyen in April, and to be announced additions over in May. And I remember last week they were talking about this, and this is a free update. This is not paid DLC. This was a free update. So that's really, really cool. I'm not going to go over all this stuff here in the demo because I already did a review on the demo and everything else. But yeah, this is just fantastic, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it. Sandland is launching April 25th in Japan, April 26th worldwide. Pre-orders are now available. There are physical editions, there are collector's editions too, and we will be looking at those collector's editions. This is coming out for the PS5, the Xbox, the PS4, and the PC via Steam. You can order this physically or digitally. It has a standard physical edition, which includes a copy of the game and a pre-order bonus downloadable content, the Survivalist Camo Pack, which customizes vehicles with 3 different special colors, and the colors will be applied to all customizable vehicles. There's also a deluxe edition. This is a digital deluxe edition. Honestly, if I'm looking at this, it looks like... Okay, I see. Standard is physical and digital. The deluxe edition was digital only, and the collector's bundle is physical only. Okay, so that's... There's different things going on here. So the deluxe edition, the digital only one, $70, still includes that pre-order bonus, the Survivalist Camo Pack. It also includes various downloadable content, such as My Room furniture set and army base, a hideout set for your furniture, a Speed Demon pack, and a Beelzebub decal set. Then there's the collector's bundle, costs $130. You get a copy of the game physically. You get the pre-order bonus downloadable content, the Survivalist Camo Pack, all that kind of stuff. All the game-exclusive customizable Beelzebub figurine as well, which is cool. Let's actually check this out. So you get all this stuff here, and you get this little Beelzebub figurine right there. And if it's anything like the One Piece Odyssey figurines that we got for that game. They are gorgeous, and they're so well made, and they are so wonderful. So I'm a sucker for these collector's editions. Y'all know me. I'm gonna have to pick this one up for Sandland too. Now this news here comes from Nintendo over on Twitter, and he's talking about various Nintendo Switch games that seem to be physically out of print right now, such as Paper Mario The Origami King, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Metroid Dread as well, and then it goes on to list even more. Donkey Kong Mario Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Kirby Star Allies, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage, Yoshi's Crafted World, WarioWare Get It Together, Nintendo Switch Sports, Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2, and Mario Strikers Baseball League. So, yeah, physical is slowly dying. Hopefully, this means that they are going to be coming out with, like, their, greatest hits, maybe they're taking these off the shelves to put out like $20 greatest hits versions. Maybe it's just because, you know, it was literally just Christmas and these various games are popular, so they sold out and they're restocking them. We don't know, but what we do know is that they are reporting that these various games seem to be out of print at this moment. So if you wanted to get any of them physically, now is possibly your last time to do so. Yoshi P himself is talking. He's floating the idea for Final Fantasy 17 as either a real-time turn-based hybrid or maybe a turn-based regular normal JRPG with a return to pixel art, maybe even HD 2D. He also says that he likes the idea of a new, younger director instead of just the same old guys. So this comes straight from the horse's mouth, straight from Square Enix, straight from frickin' Yoshi P, who I met! Super nice guy. So it says right here, it says, let me find the quote. Okay, it says, speaking to Sony veteran for the AIAS Game Maker's Notebook podcast, Yoshi P was asked whether he'll be directing Final Fantasy 17. After hesitating because he's on the board of directors now, he skirted around the question and offered that maybe it's time for somebody new instead of having the same old guys handle the next one. I think in some ways it would be good to look to the future and bring in a younger generation, with more youthful sensibilities to make a new Final Fantasy with challenges that suit today's world. Following up on that, Yoshida asked Yoshi P what advice he would give a younger Final Fantasy 17 director. And he said, Final Fantasy is about challenging what has been done before, and it's for that reason that he pondered the possibility of two very different Final Fantasy 17s. Well, I'm certainly not looking to pick a fight with the older games. We all make Final Fantasy games thinking that mine will be the most fun. So my advice is just to dive right on in and put it first down on paper what you believe would be the most enjoyable Final Fantasy before thinking too hard about it. Then from there, you can decide things like, since Final Fantasy 16 was real-time action, my Final Fantasy is going to have both real-time action and turn-based battles, kind of like Metaphor. Or you could go to the other extreme and return to its fully turn-based pixel art roots. That last option, he replied, that would be groundbreaking. I don't know how that would be groundbreaking, because that would just be fan-freaking-tastic, but, you know, who knows? Maybe I'm the minority. Who knows? Maybe am I the only one who wants it to return to a pixel, turn-based game? Like, am I the only one? Do people want it to remain, like, high-fidelity, awesome graphics, and then no actual substance? Like, is that what people like? I don't get it. I don't know. This is just me. I'm just saying, I think it would be quite groundbreaking and quite great if it did return to maybe an HD 2D form. I would love that. Speaking of Final Fantasy, let's talk about Final Fantasy 14, the Dawn Trail expansion. A couple of things have been added, such as a female... I have no idea. Hrothgar race? A Pictomancer job, and more has been announced. And it says an Xbox Series open beta test is set for February. It says that here, this was announced at Fan Festival over in Tokyo. They're doing a beta test right now, which is also planned for this year. Then it goes on to talk about this Pictomancer job, which I assume is based upon Realm. Its role is magical ranged DPS. Its weapon is the brush. Doesn't have any required classes. It starts at level 80. You would think it would start at level 1, but who knows. And its starting location is Gridania? I don't know. So... It says, worked in the medium of mixed ether, wielding a specialized brush to render their imaginings reality. These creations include not only creatures and weapons, but landscapes as well. As evoking such wonders takes time, the Pictomancer also keeps instant cast abilities and spells at the ready. If you couldn't tell, I don't play Final Fantasy XIV. I don't play MMOs in general. I was addicted to MMOs back in the day, and I don't play them for my own mental health. But I just wanted to make y'all aware that this is out there. Now we have some new game announcements. Touhou Project Adventure RPG Marisa of Lyretop Mountain has been announced for the PC. It says that they have, it's going to launch sometime in 2024, and I'm just going to read the overview and about page. It says that Marisa of Lyretop Mountain is an adventure role-playing game where you will play as Rimu and explore a mountain of books filled with mysteries and lies in search of the whereabouts of the missing Marisa. Advance or retreat, there lies a mountain of falsehood. In the depths of Marisa's lies, the conclusion to the story will be decided by you. Welcome to the mystic world of adventure, sewn together by a singular magical book. Marisa of Lyretop Mountain is an adventure role-playing game that progresses according to the player's decision-making in addition to the guidance of dice. You, the player, will play as Reimu, didn't they just say this? And explore a mountain of books filled with mysteries and lies in search of the whereabouts of missing Marisa. Why are they repeating themselves? I don't understand. Who edits these articles? My god! Deep in the stacks, a book is discovered, and Marisa, with the dusty book in her hands, has disappeared. And the next morning, a new mountain suddenly appeared in Gensokiyo. Deep within the fire-breathing mountain, what is the fateful choice that looms over you? I guess it's the choice is, do you edit your article or do you not edit your article? There's a new trailer out for Unicorn Overlord! This one is focusing basically on overworld exploration and how you go about conquering neighboring kingdoms, building up your renown, and doing side quests for the townsfolk to raise your reputation and all that kind of stuff. So it talks about how you start in a little tiny area and you kind of slowly branch out and you slowly keep on exploring and all that kind of stuff. And oh man, I cannot get enough of this. It looks so freaking good. This is like Ogre Battle in all but name. It really is, and it looks amazing. If you guys want to watch this trailer, head on over to Gamatsu, and you'll be able to see it in its entirety. This is coming out again on March 8th, worldwide, for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch as well. Looks like it's not coming to the PC, oddly enough. There's a new RPG maker in town called RPG Maker With. It's already been announced for the Nintendo Switch, but now they're also adding PS4 and PS5 versions. We don't have a release date announced for those versions. However, the Switch version is announced to release on April 11th in Japan. We don't know if this is also going to be coming out in the West or not. This is only, right now, Japanese, but I like RPG Maker games. Back in the day, whenever we got the very first RPG Maker in America on the PlayStation, I made an RPG, and I actually streamed it over on the Twitch, and I even made a video about it here over on the YouTube as well, and it was just a lot of fun. I poured hours into that, probably over 1,000 hours into that. It was, I was obsessed with RPG Maker back in high school and college. It was just, it was all about it. Palworld launches in early access in January 19th for the Xbox and PC. This has been described as Pokemon, but with guns. Open world survival crafting game Palworld is going to launch on January 19th at 12 o'clock a.m. for $30. It'll also be available on Xbox Game Pass, and it will support English language. It says that it's expected to remain in early access for at least 1 year, during which it will receive various additions and improvements via updates. Core systems such as monster capturing, battles, exploration, building, and crafting are already in place, as well as over 100 monsters, a vast open world, over 350 items, and over 70 types of buildings. It says that this is an open world crafting survival game that supports up to 32 players and is set in a world where mysterious creatures called pals live. Along your adventures, you'll encounter many pals, capture them, make them work, fight, breed, and even sell them. You can adventure in a large world alongside your pals. This one does look rather interesting. I don't know if I'm going to get into it myself, but it does look pretty sweet. Wan Sword, The Gate of the Firmament, is coming to PS5 this year. It says right here that it's already been available over on Xbox One and PC worldwide, and it first launched in March 26th of 2015. So it's been out for a hot minute right now, but it hasn't been over to Sony systems at all. Here's an overview of what to expect in this game. It says, long ago the Jade Emperor opened the gates of heaven so that worthy mortals could appeal to him and be granted divine powers in order to aid the search for the Emperor's lost daughter. However, this holy gift was exploited and abused, bringing chaos to the mortal realm. The gates of heaven had to be resealed to protect from great disaster, but since then, no mortals have been able to ascend, and no gods could ascend at will to help them. Now it's up to a small band of heroes in the mortal realm, each with their own motivations, and led by the young Sikong Yu, to try and bridge the realms before peace is shattered forever. This is another entry in the long-running RPG series based upon Chinese history as well as mythology, and it says it's a standalone tale, so you don't have to play any of the other games to know what this is all about. If this sounds interesting to you, I'm getting all tongue-tied. If this sounds interesting to you, then make sure that you check it out. Never heard of this, and bear with me. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Quest of Memories launches this summer. This is a dungeon-based RPG. It's coming out for the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC this summer. An overview of the game, it says, relive the classic story of the TV anime that I've never heard of, and also enjoy new scenarios originally in the game. Be ready to dive deeper into the adventure of Rudius, Eris, and Ruijerd? In addition, the undepicted story of Roxy and her fellows will be unveiled as the adventure of Roxy, Elena, Lise, and Talhand search for Rudius will be included in the game. If you're a fan of this anime television show, then you might want to check this out here. There's an Xbox Developer Direct set for January 18th. It's going to be going over pretty much 4 games, probably more than that, but they're basically saying that there's going to be 4 games. This is coming at 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and it's going to look at some first-party games that are coming to the Xbox, the PC, as well as Game Pass, and you'll be able to watch it on both YouTube and Twitch. It says, the broadcast will be presented by the game developers themselves, including the first gameplay trailer for Machine Games' Indiana Jones' game, a deep dive into Obsidian Entertainment's first-person action RPG Avowed, new gameplay and details on Oxide Interactive's turn-based strategy game Ara, A History Untold, and behind-the-scenes look at Ninja Theory's Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. So if you have an Xbox and you want to check out these first-party games, be sure to mark this here in your calendar. Front Mission First Remake is going to get a major update in 2024. The developer Megapixel Studio and publisher Forever Entertainment have announced that Front Mission First Remake will receive bonus content update that includes new single-player missions, a local multiplayer mode, and the introduction of mercenaries into this fray. This free expansion will come out sometime in 2024. So that's pretty neat. If you enjoy turn-based strategy RPGs that are kind of like futuristic and mecha and all that, it's like Final Fantasy Tactics meets, I don't know, Xenoblade or something. It's pretty cool, I've got to say. Then, and if you enjoyed it the first time around, then be sure to check out this free update as well. The designer of Phantasy Star 2 wants to give the game a Genshin Impact-style 3D remake. We already know that Sega is going back into their back catalog, back into their back library. They didn't say that they were going to be going back into the Phantasy Star series, but a guy can dream. It says right here, Phantasy Star has been a hit, but fans have long wanted to see it return to the classic Phantasy Star games. And it turns out that Yasushi Yamaguchi might have some ideas of how to do it. He worked as a designer on many Sega games, including Phantasy Star 2. And he recently spoke to the Japanese publication Beep 21 and shared some of the things that he'd like to do if he ever got the chance to remake the second Phantasy Star adventure. He noted that the game would be recreated in 3D and would have a similar look to something like Genshin Impact, while retaining the visual style inspired by Nobuyoshi Habara. He also noted that he was frustrated with the technical limitations that the team encountered when working on the game back in 1989, and that any remake would need to be much more cinematic, kind of like Naughty Dog's Uncharted games. I love that, number one, Sega is going back into their back catalog to kind of look at older games and bring them to the limelight. And I also love that these designers are coming out of the woodwork and being like, hey, what about Phantasy Star? What about these RPGs? This is what I want to do if I get my hands on those. And now let's dive deep into something near and dear to my heart, the fan translation scene. Saturn fans can now play the ultimate version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the most complete and advanced version. We got the version for the PlayStation, but there was another version for the Sega Saturn which had additional modes and additional levels and everything else. It was like the complete edition of the game, but that stayed in Japan because the Saturn didn't really sell all that well here in the West, so we never got that. However, it has now been translated into English. It says, using the PSP version as its template, this patch reduces load times, fixes bugs, and even allows you to use the Saturn's 4MB RAM cartridge. Transparency effects, which were missing from the original part, are restored as much as possible, while certain sprites have been resized so they more accurately match those in the PlayStation version. Here's a full list of the changes. Full translation into English, restoring the translucency of the many objects, direct access to the global map, finalization of the global map, restoring the original proportions of some sprites, removing horizontal blacks, skip videos and dialogues, access to Richter's alternate costume, reduced loading time, supports 4MB expansion card, bug fixes, and a hard mode. I have this game, and I played it for maybe 4 or 5 hours back in the day, but I'm no good at action games, and this was the time that I was really starting to get into really like only RPGs, and I still have it, I still own it, it's still back there, I still haven't beaten it though. And now our final story of the day. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about, I know, it's been a lot. Tengai Makyao Ziria has finally been translated. This is the debut entry into the long-running Tengai Makyao series, which we never got in English. Well, there's only been two translated into English, but one was a spin-off. One was Tengai Makyao Zero, which was released on the SNES, which I actually did a Let's Play on way back in the day, and the other one was on the Game Boy Advance called Oriental Blue, which is a spin-off and it's a side story and all that kind of stuff. But this is like the first one. This is like the first Final Fantasy or the first Dragon Quest getting translated into English. This is so freaking cool, I can't even stand it. Let me read the game description. Long, long ago, amidst the seas and the farthest reaches of the Far East, there was once a mystical land called Jaipang, a beautiful and terrible place where gods and demons, wonders and horrors, men and beasts alike all coexisted in a strange and fantastic harmony. But that harmony is threatened whenever a foreign religion called the Cult of Demon arrives on the country's shores and begins spreading across the land. Its leaders aiming to steal human souls in order to revive the sealed demon Masakado and transform Jaipang into their own utopia. Will Ziria, the fated hero descended from the Fire Clan which once sealed Masakado, stop the wicked demonists, or will Jaipang's Oriental beauty burn in demonic hellfire? This was originally published for the TurboGrafx 16 back in 1989, and it was the first RPG ever released on CD, and it served as a showcase for the new medium with elaborate visuals and voice acting far beyond what any competing title had to offer. Like, oh man! I know what I'm playing this weekend, y'all. You have no idea how excited I am about this. I just need to figure out how to work this on I think I would use Mednafen, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm just saying, like, this is just great. So, we've had a lot of stories. We've had EarthBound, we've had Granblue Phantasy, we've had Sandland, we've had Symphony of the Night, we've had Final Fantasy 17. Let me know what you're most excited about, y'all. Let me know, because this has been a doozy of a week. And as always, have a good day.